So when you are talking about controlling expenditure on social services or elsewhere, of course, planning is very important. You cannot control things effectively if you don't plan ahead. So why is planning important? So planning is important to establish national goals, whether these national goals are related to economy, social services, education, health, housing, and all that. So every sector has to have social goals which are to be achieved, and there should be plans about it. Otherwise, you cannot achieve the goals. So in this case, we have this, from Alice in Wonderland. Alice asks the Cheshire Cat, "Would you tell me, please, which way I ought to go from here?" And the cat replies, "That depends a great deal on where you want to get to." And Alice answers, "I don't much care where." The cat, "Then it doesn't matter which way you go." So if you don't have plans, if you don't know where you are going, so it doesn't matter. Whatever you do, you will not succeed. Another importance of planning is that we are fiscally constrained. We don't have much money. So if you don't have much money, you have to plan more efficiently to spend in areas which are absolutely necessary, and not waste the money on areas where you can avoid spending. So these are the areas, these are the reasons why we plan. So in federal government, the Ministry of Planning and Development take care of that. It is similar to Planning Commission. There are much overlap between the two. So Planning Commission or Ministry of Planning and Development take care of planning at the federal level, and that at the provincial level, it's the Planning and Development departments, which plan for the economic growth of provinces and discuss and settle goals. So planning has been important for given importance since the start of Pakistan. So in 1948, there was a development board was established in Economic Affairs Division. And then in 1957, there was a National Planning Board with Prime Minister as chairman. But it was under Ayub Khan that Planning Commission was established, and planning became something on which government focused on and gave very much importance to. So in 1961, the Planning Commission was established, and President himself became the chairman of that. Then there was this reconstruction or reconstitution of the Planning Commission in 1982 under General Zia, and Minister of Finance became the chairman of them. So President, who was not much interested or doesn't know much about economics, he ceded his seat to the Minister of Finance, which at that time was Ghulam Ishaq Khan. Then Planning Commission was revamped in 2006 under Prime Minister Shaukat Aziz. He was a banker. He knew what he was doing, and he was well versed in economic policy and all that. So he changed the Planning Commission and became the Minister of and appointed a Minister of Planning. In 2013, again there was change, and Prime Minister became the chairman of the Planning Commission. The latest change was that the CPEC, which is the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, it was given to the Planning Commission to administer, to manage. So now the ministry which is looking at the whole CPEC, where it is going, what are the different plans, what are the different agreements with China, which Chinese companies are coming, what are the time frames, all these are discussed and settled in the Planning Commission. In comparison to federal government, in provincial government we have the provincial planning and development departments. So they are headed by Chairman P&D, which is Chairman Planning and Development, or the Additional Chief Secretary Development. And he's a senior officer. He or she is a senior officer and one step up from the provincial secretaries. So he can call the provincial secretaries and meet them and then discuss different plans with them. So what are the responsibilities of P&D departments in provinces? So they formulate the provincial government's vision, policies and strategies. They come up with the annual development program, which is the yearly development program of the provinces. They also develop the medium-term development framework. They settle the resource allocation. They manage the foreign assistance, like policies related to foreign assistance, loans, what type of areas in which foreign assistance will be spent, projects, what type of projects will be decided or agreed upon. Then planning and development departments are concerned about the monitoring and evaluation of projects. So whether they are going efficiently and effectively, or there are delays, what can be done to improve their effectiveness. All these are the responsibilities of Planning Commission, Planning and Development Department. Then also the Planning and Development Department look at coordination and capacity building regarding development issues. They also give guidelines for consultancy services and management of IT policies. So all these things are done by the Planning and Development Department.